Welcome to Mueller Time, episode 25.
Welcome.
What's up, man?
How are you?
Well, today, it was rough last week because we dropped the pod.
We went a day early.
Yeah, we dropped the pod. Yeah, right.
We went on our normal time, but news just broke in an unideal situation for us.
Yeah, this whole doing a podcast called Mueller Time is like being on that hamster on a wheel, and you never catch up, no matter what. Tuesday, August 21st.
Oh, wow. A day that will live in infamy.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe you said that. I was just thinking that.
Your line.
No, did I say that? No. Well, I think that line was a little bit before us.
Okay.
But you're absolutely right. A day that will live in infamy.
You know what, though? That day's going to get overshadowed because at some point, Junior and Javanka are going to get indicted. And we're going to forget all about August 21st.
Yeah, and the day we see the plane taking off towards Russia with Trump. That'll also be a day.
Is that where you think he's going to flee to Russia?
All I know is that Tuesday, August 21st, that's the day that you'll remember.
Yeah. Even
if you had any interest in this whole thing.
You saved your copy of the New York Times.
I did. I got up early, and I wasn't sure if, sometimes you can tell when a paper's going to sell out. Mm-hmm. But this wasn't. It was no. They had a couple copies.
Yeah, because nobody buys the paper anymore.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of. Well, I don't. I get the digital too. Mm-hmm. But I went down there. I was like, because the New York Times did the when they have the whole front page.
Yeah.
Which only is for like major. That's like Pearl Harbor, dude.
Yeah, they don't do the entire top half for one story ever. It's got to be big.
Right. Tuesday, August 21st. Where were you?
Yeah. Where was I?
Yeah.
Well, I was working all day, and I didn't really hear all the news until I got home because I have a day job.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I knew things were happening and moving.
But what was the first? When did you hear about it first? If you remember.
I'm not remembering exactly how it went down, so maybe it doesn't quite have Kennedy assassination level of memory retention for me.
I know that I woke up. By the way, for anyone who's, for some reason, just happened to randomly select on this podcast and doesn't know what's going on, the day that Paul Manafort was convicted and Michael Cohen pled guilty in the same day.
Yeah. What a day.
I think I woke up and then, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Manafort happened first, right?
Manafort was first, yes.
Okay. Woke up, saw that, started flipping out, and I also was getting ready for work. And then middle of the day, Cohen dropped, and I was like, you can't be serious.
Yeah, all in one day. And then Trump had the nerve to go to West Virginia for a rally, and the crowd was chanting, "Lock her up" at the rally.
Yeah.
Come on.
Imagine being that, just whatever that is.
Yeah, just unaware. Just willfully ignorant. Imagine being that willfully ignorant.
Right. Yeah. I mean, is that even, are you like a human? Are you a person in the same way that we are? Because I feel like that's almost like something, you're another life form.
They are, because they're the supreme ones.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell. Mm-hmm. A lot of really white supremacy at its best.
Yeah.
A lot of, what's the average weight for those rallies?
Average weight? Wow. Okay.
Hey.
250, 275.
It's up there.
All right.
It's up there. That white supremacy thing is really working out for those people.
I don't know. I guess mom keeps you well fed when you have to live in her basement.
Just imagine being why would you do that to yourself?
Well, they don't do it to themselves. They're born into it, and they don't get properly educated to learn that that's not the way to live.
I mean, everyone he knows is getting convicted, and you're chanting "lock her up." Mm-hmm. That's just not going to work out for you mentally.
No.
But in the end, it's funny. They'll be back exactly where they started. That's my favorite thing about this. It's a perfect circle, right? Like that band, right? It really, it's a perfect circle. They started as losers, and they'll be back as losers.
Well, you say that as if they're not losers right now.
They are, but remember that time when I brought up how they actually won and control all three branches of government, but they don't know.
Yeah.
And I love that they'll be back on the bottom.
Well, yeah, it seems that the right only knows how to play the victim. No matter what's going on, they're somehow victimized by all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so Manafort was convicted. He was convicted of 8 counts. There were 18. Hey, I'll take it, though. Now, you remember I was kind of flipping out. we were both a little nervous, I think, right?
Well, yeah, no, I remember when we were recording the last podcast, I was afraid everything was going to come back as acquitted.
By the way, the worst thing was editing the other one as that news was happening. I was like, oh, and it's not like I don't.
It's no good. It's old news.
And we have it set up now where there really is. I don't edit for content. I just occasionally will take something out, like if there's a siren outside or something. But that's it. But it was so like I was like over it. Like all I could think about was wanting to watch the news, and I'm sitting there in the dark.
We should have just recorded another one on Tuesday night.
I thought about it, and some of the other shows that do what we do did that emergency podcast, but I also have to remain sane. Okay. And this is so much. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's just two people we do the whole thing.
Now, when is Manafort when is his sentencing for his 8 guilty charges? Guilty verdicts, excuse me.
I don't know, actually.
Will it be before or after his next trial, which happens in D.C. for more charges?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he will be remaining in prison.
But now he did get enough guilty verdicts that could put him away for the rest of his life, right?
Oh yeah. Well, when you're 70-some years old, I mean, it doesn't take much.
No.
There were 18 counts, but like I said, I'll take the 8. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw that juror, that one. One of the jurors is the only one who's done interviews is a Trump supporter.
Of course.
And, to her credit, she voted to convict on all 18 counts.
She did vote to convict on 18. Then who was the holdout?
Nobody knows. Yeah, I thought it was her at first, too. No, it was somebody else.
So he got to do it. Now, with the charges, he did not get the guilty verdicts. Is he fully acquitted of those charges?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or hung, or what do they call
jury.
it? Yeah.
Yes.
Although a friend of mine who is the Mueller Time podcast legal advisor let me know something interesting that was not on any of the shows. He's a prosecutor in the major crimes unit in a major city. He said that even when you're found not guilty or there's the jury can't come to a conclusion on certain counts, the judge can still take those into account as if you were found guilty, which he said is actually grossly unfair. In other words, the judge can say, well, they couldn't come to a conclusion, but I find this a little sketchy.
Well, is that, though, because he is found guilty on 8 of the 18 charges?
But the judge can take the other 10 and say, well, although they couldn't, I found this whole thing a little weird, so I'm going to throw an extra year on you.
But then that gets back to my question. Was he convicted on enough things to put him away for life?
Yes.
So
natural for him, natural life.
So now if this judge is going to make his own judgment in these hung charges, he's already guilty on 8 of 10. So that's okay.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
In this life, I learned sometimes you got to just accept what you got as a victory. Mm-hmm. Now, the next trial, they said, is going to be in D.C., which has virtually no Trump supporters.
Yeah.
and also, apparently, everyone is saying they have way more evidence.
They'll find some people to screw up that jury.
And we won't have this dickhead judge or whatever, Ellis.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling good.
Okay, I'm glad that you're positive. I'm always pessimistic on these things. I'm sure they will find the one judge to make things difficult and the 1 or 2 jurors that are leftover right-wing nut jobs from whenever.
No, look, you're right, though. You always got to be cautious in this thing, and I agree with you. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, August 25th, I think when we come back and we look at it, that will be, I think that will be August 21st, that will be the day that everyone kind of remembers where things... I mean, he was flipping out. I don't know if you saw his Fox interview.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he's been trying to damage control all week. And I tweeted privately to you just the other day, I'm now freaked out that we're bombing something next week. And I think the groundwork's being set for it to be North Korea.
If you get a chance, you got to watch this interview with Ainsley Earhart, like in the Rose Garden.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I sure as heck saw that. Yes.
I don't usually watch like Fox News or anything with Trump if I can help it, but I had to watch that.
You had to, yes.
This guy is talking about flipping. He was talking about flipping like it's something that happens to everybody. And then he said, people have been flipping on me 40 years. Maybe there's a reason for that.
Well, yeah, but just the whole context of it is that our president thinks it's a bad thing if you were going to report someone breaking the law. That's basically what he told Ainsley Earhart of Fox and Friends.
Yeah, Ainsley Airhead.
Yeah.
Did she even talk during that? Like, what's up with her?
Oh no, I mean she had all the proper propaganda questions ready to ask. I don't think she then offered any dissenting opinion after any of it.
I'm surprised he didn't like openly like hit on her during the interview, because I know he doesn't have any like self-control.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was after the interview. That was, by the way, just for the record, he's been flipping on people for 40 years. I want everyone to know that.
Yeah.
David K. Johnson said he's flipped on at least 2 guys, and there's probably others. He's ratted out all kinds of people to stay.
Is that in one of David K. Johnson's books?
I don't know if he mentioned his books. I saw him say it on TV.
Okay.
So, and that could be, Trump would be the first guy who would be like that movie, who would be an FBI informant. So his name could very well be in all kinds of files. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would guess that almost certainly it is.
Of course.
He's the exact kind of informant they look for, because he can't shut the fuck up, and he's a criminal. Mm-hmm. And he's always looking to get over on someone.
Yeah, well, now he is the target, so he can't flip.
No.
Who could he flip on? They don't want anyone else.
No. There's no one bigger. Mm-mm. But to bring it back to what you said, he is going to be a lot more dangerous now. The chances is, I mean, he could bomb something. I don't know. Well,
yeah, he's completely changed course on his dialogue towards North Korea. If you look at his tweets from the last week. Now, Pompeo was going to go for another talk, and Trump just canceled that. And he had another tweet saying China is not helping out the way they're supposed to be helping out in the North Korea situation. Mm-hmm. I think he's laying the groundwork to go after North Korea now. Because he's got to do something to look like a hero. And now if he goes and attacks our biggest enemy, that's not Russia. Trump's the hero again. I'm afraid that's going to happen this week.
Yeah, it could, but I don't know. He's not very smart. I'm not saying that he's not capable of something like that, but I think his head is the wag the dog type of stuff. That's more like an actual politician would think of that.
Yeah, but didn't he already wag the dog once? There was something he bombed right at the beginning of the presidency in early 2017.
I think in Syria,
yeah.
he when he made some bullshit up about Ivanka said she saw a picture of the kids, and then he bombed some people.
Yeah, and it served as a distraction from something, because there's always something in the Trump world to be distracted from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, that was a year and a half, almost not quite 2 years ago, and I've forgotten already.
I'm not worried so much about him thinking of that, but the people that he surrounds himself with, like Pompeo, they're much smarter. They would think of something like that. Mm-hmm. Or John Bolton, another psychopath.
Well, look, there was the tweet late on Friday. Was it Friday? That Scavino put out photos of Trump and who else in the Oval Office, and specifically saying we're discussing North Korea. And why was he putting that out late in the day on Friday?
I don't know. I think North Korea is a complete failure. Mm-hmm. It's now a historical fact for the rest of time that the dumbest president of all time gave them what they've wanted for 50, 60 years, including the commemorative coin, which I have here in this room.
Yeah, the annual military exercises are supposed to be happening right now with South Korea off of the Korean Peninsula. They happen every August, and they don't happen anymore because Trump wanted to suck up to Putin and Kim Jong-un.
I just got to go back to this again. In one day, which happened last week, the president's campaign manager and his personal lawyer were convicted. That's Watergate. What? Like, that's nothing.
But her emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That brings up a bigger issue, which is, what is the strategy going to be to confront the radical right-wing extremism for the rest of time? If you haven't learned, not you, but the collective you, if you haven't learned how to deal with these nuts, we're never going to learn. They operate they're dirty fighters. They're going to continue doing this stuff. It doesn't matter. Like you said, they're at the rally screaming, lock her up 8 years after she ran for president, or it feels like it.
Well, they don't have to follow their own rules.
Right.
Yeah.
So we need to start playing the game, I believe, like they do, except not breaking the law.
Well, yeah. Now, this is still a little bit of a change of subject. The right never playing by, or never, having their own set of rules. When are they going to try to push through Kavanaugh's nomination? That's got to happen sometime soon. And it seems to be that there's a growing dissent within the Senate. There might be some people on the right that are not going to actually vote for him now.
Yeah, there were actually protests today all around the country. I almost went to that one downtown. Mm-hmm. I actually contacted them about an interview because they said Tom Steyer was going to be there.
Okay.
But anyway, I ended up not going.
All right. Well, time is running out with the election coming up. When is that going to be pushed through? When's his vote going to happen? Because that kind of needs to happen before the November election.
Yeah, they're trying to push it through for September. Look, let's be clear about this. Brett Kavanaugh cannot be on the Supreme Court.
No.
A criminal president who is an unindicted co-conspirator. That's exactly what Michael Cohen did. Again, let's make this clear. Trump is an unindicted co-conspirator mentioned in those documents. It just doesn't say Donald Trump.
No. Well, individual one.
Right.
Who went on to be, it says individual one who went on to become president of the United States.
Does it actually fucking say that?
It absolutely says that.
Amazing.
Yes.
I didn't
Right
realize
after
it actually.
individual -1.
Right.
Who became president of the United States.
An unindicted co-conspirator cannot nominate a Supreme Court justice.
Well, he did.
I don't care what the fuck these Democrats have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
when's Mitch McConnell going to try to push it through now? That's going to happen.
oh no,
they're
they're doing it right now. I mean, they're working.
well. When's he scheduling the vote? That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, the actual day?
Yeah.
That I don't know if that's
Because look, now, as you're calling individual one, the unindicted co-conspirator, he's going to lose votes on the right in the Senate.
Someone made up a campaign poster that says "Individual One Pence 2020." Like, it was so funny.
All right, but I'm not even going to get into that. Like, I was trying to. Pence shouldn't even be allowed to take office if Trump actually gets indicted and impeached. But that's a whole different podcast.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. Pence. Remember, Pence was the pick of Paul Manafort. So let's not pretend that Pence doesn't know what happened or that he could be mixed up in this too. Yeah. Or excuse me, is mixed up in this too.
Yeah, they're going to try to paint him as innocent.
He
already is being painted that way, but yeah.
Like I said on a previous podcast, Brett Kavanaugh cannot be on the Supreme Court. Just fucking make something up. I'm being totally serious right now. Make something up. You're lawyers, so you bullshitters by nature. Go pull out all the federal codes and find something. What do you think Mitch McConnell does?
Look, I don't think anything dirty really needs to happen. I want to think there will be, and we only need a couple Republican senators to come to their senses and say, you know what? We have a president that is an unindicted co-conspirator. We should not right now put through his nominee. Look, we just lost McCain. He wasn't going to get to vote anyway, but, you know. Who was the Lisa Murkowski? Who's the one that is already waffling on voting for Kavanaugh? I think it's Murkowski who is publicly saying she might not vote for him.
Oh,
yeah. So they only need one more person, and Kavanaugh doesn't get voted in. He doesn't get confirmed. This
is like full on DEFCON 5. You know, they blocked Obama for a whole year, so I don't even want to hear any excuses. I'll do whatever it is in my power. I mean, we're just two guys here doing a podcast. They need to do something.
Yeah. Well, I like Michael Moore's idea where just get thousands of people to surround the Capitol that day and don't let anybody in to go vote.
And by the way, for 1 second, forget about Trump. You can't be on the Supreme Court if you nearly went bankrupt buying baseball tickets. Brett Kavanaugh accumulated, I believe it was $2 million worth of debt buying Washington Nationals tickets. You can't be on the Supreme Court if that's your judgment.
Well, how did he pay back that debt? That's the question.
Right. Yeah. Somebody gave him the money.
Did we learn who that person was that gave him the money?
Nope.
No. Mm-mm.
So, no, you can't have that kind of financial stupidity and be on our nation's highest court.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you even buy that many baseball tickets? How is that even possible? I mean, there's 160 some games in the season, right? Or something like that. I'm not a big baseball fan. Even if you bought the big box, how is that possible?
Yeah. There's some funny business going on there. And who paid him back the money? How did he settle that debt?
I just can't believe that on one day in American history, going back to this, the president's campaign manager and lawyer were convicted. Or, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How did that even happen?
Yeah, it happened because we live in a nation that has just enough white supremacist assholes to put that stuff in power. Just enough in the right geographical locations.
Mm. So but you did bring up something important before. Now that we got through some of that. So the National Enquirer, which is a tabloid that I don't think anyone.
It's the original fake news.
Let me back up for a sec. Why is everyone involved in this sordid affair right out of 1981? Have you noticed that?
How are you connecting 1981 to the National Enquirer?
It's just like Trump. Do you know one person who reads the National Enquirer?
Well, no.
Do you work with anyone like under the age of 30?
Yeah.
If you were like, hey, do you know what the Enquirer is? Do you
Yeah,
think
they're not going to know what that is. You're correct there.
it's everything about Trump peaked in like his man to cover things up is stuck in 1984. He eats fast food that no one eats anymore. Like the Big Mac is his thing. I'm not saying people don't eat that, but this guy was like frozen in time.
Yeah, wasn't he sending, before they had to fire Keith Schiller, wasn't Trump sending him out at odd hours out of the White House to go to the local McDonald's because he couldn't get a Big Mac from the White House kitchen?
Right, like people who become president, generally the ones who have a normal intelligence, they find ways to cover things up, and if they have to intimidate people, but they don't use these tactics from
From the movies.
yeah, or from 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Like he probably could have had just the same effect without using that, but I guess that's his thing. It's just I find it very funny.
Yeah, well, he's a cartoon character, evil cartoon character come to life.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, for you guys who are just catching up on this, the National Enquirer's David Pecker, who has flipped on him, has been this guy's. Their thing, the way they did business there was they would buy a story, right?
Yes.
If Trump did something wrong, which was every day, they would then buy that story, and the person would sign an agreement saying, I'm never going to talk about this, but here's my story. And then the paper just wouldn't publish it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, that's how copyrights work. Yeah, catch
Correct.
and kill.
Right, exactly.
And it's fully within the rights of the publication to do that. They buy the rights to the story. They can do whatever the hell they want with the story. If they don't want to run it, they don't run it. So people like Trump use that to their advantage.
The problem with Pecker, and we don't fully know what they have him on the hook for, but it seems to be two things. One, the stories were purchased to influence an election.
Yeah.
So that's what Michael Cohen pled guilty to. That's what Pecker, I'm sure, is part of.
Yeah, well, he's guilty of that as well.
Bingo. Two, and then you had read something different on this. They told one woman, Karen McDougal, who wanted to be a writer, that they would help her with her career. And then you said that they actually did print something?
Yeah, now Rachel Maddow explained all of this. In Karen McDougal's part of the deal, the former Playboy playmate, in her part of the non-disclosure agreement, she was promised a writing gig with AMI. Well, AMI also owns Men's Journal, and the way that AMI fulfilled their contractual obligation to Karen McDougal did not have to write a single word. They took an existing picture of her and wrote a cover story about Karen McDougal's workout. And that fulfilled AMI's obligation to push her writing or push her career.
That's a good
so
one.
Boom, he's now off the hook. He gave Karen McDougal what she needed. She's not going to talk now. But now Mueller's kind of throwing a wrench into all of that.
And then there may be other things that Pecker did that we don't know about. They said there's a safe full of secrets.
Well, yeah, that's next.
And then, as you correctly pointed out, it has been confirmed that there is at least one baby Trump.
Okay, I don't think we can go so far to say the vault baby has been confirmed yet. What has been confirmed is that there was a no disclosure or an NDA with a former Trump Tower doorman who knows all about Trump and an affair with a Trump Tower housekeeper. And the thing that's being reported is this NDA included something about an illegitimate child, but now that none of that has actually been proven there. But now let's think about the implications for a moment. Does Trump hire white people to be his cleaning staff?
Great question. I don't know. Oh, you think he might have like
an anchor baby? I think he might have an anchor baby.
Oh, really? That would be
well. We know at Mar-a-Lago they only really hire people off some weird foreign visa so he can get labor super cheap. We know he does that at Mar-a-Lago. Well, what does he do for housekeeping labor at Trump Tower?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised because historically in this country, racist white people have often had love child. I mean, how many are we? Remember Strom Thurmond?
Yeah, yeah. He had some African American children.
Yeah, it's.
So what will happen if there's a Mexican Trump child?
I mean, from our perspective, obviously that is his followers obviously don't care, but.
I don't know. What will his followers think when we find out he's been hiding a Mexican baby? He's been hiding a Mexican baby in the National Enquirer vault.
As much as I want to say that would cause some kind of sea change, they don't care. I mean, but all jokes aside, it is true, and I'm going to say why. Because there's no reason that they would have paid this guy that money.
Yeah.
Zero. Mm-hmm. If he was trying to blackmail them or just lying, they would have just said, they would have told him to fuck off, and they would have sued him.
No, Michael Cohen would have sent some goons after him to beat the crap out of him.
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking of that, I'm interested to know if we're going to find out the goons who tried to intimidate Stormy Daniels.
Oh, yeah, that part of that story kind of went away.
Yeah, but Cohen will tell them what happened.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I suspect that he hired someone or they got some two-bit actor.
Look, it happened to her in Vegas. There's no shortage of tough guys to hire in Vegas to do such a thing.
Yeah. I'll be very interested to the list of crimes that Trump has committed.
We haven't even gotten close to hearing the whole thing.
This goes for, someone. By the way, I want to keep going if that's cool with you.
Go ahead.
Because a lot happened.
Yes.
Last week. Usually we cut it off at 30 minutes, but fuck it.
No, there's too much going on right now.
Okay, so the whole thing with Trump is that because he's president, this whole thing about not indicting a president. Well, what if your election was a fraud? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a fair argument to make in court.
Yeah.
They stole this election. Even forget about Russia for a second. Just the stuff about paying off these women, that influenced
the election. That's
right.
Exactly what, and that's what the intent was.
Trump doesn't pay anyone anything if he can help it. They paid these women because they knew it was damaging. Mm-hmm. And then he won the election by 78,000 votes. To me, that's enough to indict him in office. I think it's crazy in the first place that you can't indict a president. Where does that come from?
Okay, well, do we know that for sure? I think it's that's never been constitutionally tested. So that's how Trump goes around saying you can't indict a president.
It's just a policy of the Justice Department. It's nowhere in the law.
I think it's just a policy talking point of people on the right trying to protect Trump.
No, it actually is a Justice Department policy, but it's not like you said, it's not a law.
Okay, so a policy is not a law.
You're right. No, and it's only from one incident, which is Nixon. Mm-hmm. It literally comes from, it's only 30 years ago or whatever, whenever that happened.
Yeah, but then all you got to do is impeach the mother effer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can indict him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, he's going to try to stay in office as long as possible. Like it's like treading water. Like, fuck.
Well, there is plenty of people that have said Donald Trump is the last president.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad and scary.
Yeah, Bill Maher says that sometimes. I'm not worried about that, actually. I just think it's crazy how you can't. What do you mean you can't indict a president?
Yeah, I'm not buying that one. Let's see what Mueller does.
The founders made the president a civilian. That was very specific. Not a military guy, a civilian like you or I.
Yeah. He
gets paid a salary. Like that was very intentional. So what do you mean he can't be indicted? Mm-hmm. He can be indicted like any other civilian.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings up what I want to tell you. The Trump juror in the Manafort trial, who, despite being a huge Trump supporter, I mean, this lady literally said she drove to the trial with a MAGA hat in her.
How did she not get thrown off when they were doing jury selection?
Well,
she hit it well, I guess.
Well, no, I don't. If you hide anything, you get in trouble. I don't know what kind of questions they ask.
I can't imagine she wore the MAGA hat into the jury selection.
No, but the way, I mean, have you ever been on a jury?
No.
So, no, just like when you are, they get, the defense and the prosecution gets a certain amount of people they can just kick off with they don't have to explain anything.
Yeah.
At least, I don't know how the federal thing works, but I've been on a jury.
Okay.
But after a while, you're out of, cards.
Yeah.
But whatever. So the point being is that, what I was going to say was that she voted to convict on 18 counts. The people who Trump surrounds himself with, if they were smart enough to understand this, they should be making an exit strategy now. She's a representative of his base.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is her allegiance is to him, and she didn't give a damn about Paul Manafort. Are they seeing the tea leaves yet? Mm-hmm. This is their future. Trump Jr., Ivanka, I don't care who it is. These people don't give a shit about them.
Yeah.
Even maybe the slightest bit if they're a blood relative, but not even. This lady couldn't have cared less. And she knew that Paul Manafort could affect Trump too, in a way. It still didn't matter. Mm-hmm. So unless your name is Donald Trump, You are going to jail. You are going to jail.
Well, everyone has to vote the right way in November for Donald Trump to go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, Debbie Downer here for you.
Well, no, that's okay. Speaking of which, the New York Times has a big article on, I believe it was yesterday. It's on the Kremlin and our spies there. I don't know if you saw that.
Maybe I did. Why don't you inform everyone?
So apparently the Kremlin spies that we have that are close to Putin, however many there are, have gone dark.
Oh, I did see this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So our intelligence, and it's a very good article, and it's very well. The people who wrote it know what they're talking about.
Well, look, Putin's been killing spies, so they kind of don't have a choice.
Well, exactly. What the article makes clear is that our intelligence, the CIA, whoever else, are positive that they haven't been killed, but that they can't talk because of what's going on.
Yeah.
So the point of this being that we don't know what they're going to do for the midterms.
I know. Yeah.
Right. We don't know if they're going to try to cut the power or do that.
That's right there.
Yeah.
The Russians know are in our power grid.
It could be anything. So it's kind of scary, but we don't know.
Oh, God, massive blackout on election day. That'll be people will flip out.
These people
will lose it all across the country.
These people could have anything planned.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's nothing that anyone listening to this or you or I can. We don't work for the NSA.
No.
But what I'm saying is that we've brought up on every part of this podcast. Everyone has to be at their A game now.
Mm-hmm.
Check your voter registration. Whatever.
All right. So then, let's be prepared then. You vote by mail. You vote in advance, don't you?
No, I actually vote in person.
Okay,
yeah.
that's the way I prefer to do it too.
Yeah.
I like going to the poll and voting right there. I don't like the mail-in ballot thing.
I do it for that reason.
Okay.
I like seeing my...
So when Russia cuts the power to the entire United States on Election Day 2018, how do you vote? Well, look, if that happens, everybody's vote's screwed anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference.
Right. Yeah, let's think positive.
Yeah, okay.
Let's try.
Well, look, I don't think Putin's going to cut the power to the entire United States, but he will definitely, if he's going to do it, he's going to very strategically pick particular precincts where you just need a few thousand right-wing nut jobs to vote the correct way to get the people in office that you want.
Or Mr. Putin may, let's just cross our fingers here, but it may be what we think. Sometimes in life, things aren't what you think. Mm. I didn't think last Tuesday that the president's campaign manager and lawyer were going to be convicted on the same day.
So nervous leading up. Every day before when the jury was deliberating, I was getting messages from Eric. You were so nervous leading up to that, and I fully understand.
That Manafort thing, look, you can only get lucky so many times. Mm. I mean, we really, man, that was, imagine if that, look, that was...
Yeah, if Manafort got off on all of the charges right now, Trump would be, he would be the last president.
Well, what about this one juror who somehow the other jurors managed to sway them to convict on 8 counts? But my gut tells me that person, for whatever their own reason was, really didn't want to convict on any.
Yeah.
I mean, that was this close to a mistrial.
Yeah, that last note from the jurors to the judge was scary.
So I don't know what those people said to them, and I don't really give a damn. I hope whether they intimidated him or not, whatever. It got the result that we needed.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, wow. I don't want to, that's the thing about this whole debacle. You can only get lucky so many times. Mm-hmm. I don't want that to happen.
All right. So when now does Maria Butina go in front of a judge?
I haven't heard anything about that, to be honest with you, man. That's real quiet right now.
Well, there was something very strange. She was moved to the same jail in Virginia that Manafort's been in. And that was kind of a thing in the news last week. And nobody knew exactly why she was moved to the same jail as Manafort. Now, it's not like they're going to be bunkmates or something, because I obviously going to keep the men and women separate. But that was just an odd thing, and there was no explanation as to why she was moved. That's when we got that new mugshot of her where she looked like she's like 15 years older than she was.
Yeah, I put that one up on the Mueller Time Facebook page, just with have a great weekend.
Yeah.
I think any opportunity you can take for, what's that German word they use, Schadenfreude? I can never pronounce that.
Schadenfreude?
Is that it?
Don't ask me to get it right.
All right. Yeah. Another thing I don't know, but I'll take my chances when I can get them with this crew. Mm-hmm. I mean, you mentioned McCain before. The things they said about him.
Yeah.
These people get whatever's coming to them.
Yeah.
And I say if you ever have the opportunity to confront one of these people like they did with, Fuckabee Sanders. You take that opportunity.
Wow.
Don't let them get away with it.
Yeah, look, did the Trump family members, do they eat out anywhere that isn't a Trump-owned property these days? I don't know if they could.
Well, for them to go out anywhere is,
Yeah.
to receive a steady stream of, very angry people.
Where did Javanka go out at night? What do they do for entertainment in D.C. during the evenings? Do they go anywhere other than Trump International Mail House? I know it's not the post office anymore.
No, yeah. Don Jr., Ivanka, Jared, Eric Trump. I just want to make this clear right now. These people are all going to be indicted. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
They have no protection, and they haven't. That's just it.
Yeah. Look, the CFO of Trump Organization, the guy's gonna have to rat out all of them.
The guy who's like the bookmaker from The Untouchables, the Kevin Costner. That's all I could think about. The bookmaker.
Yeah.
That's who it is.
They're
yeah.
going down.
Alan Weisselberg. Yeah. He's been their accountant since Trump's father was in charge.
Yeah, he's been there forever. He knows everything.
Yeah. No, it's big.
My chair keeps making noise.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it was a hell of a week. I don't know.
Hey, look, we're doing this on a Sunday for a change, and I already said I'm afraid we're bombing something this week. I don't even want to know what's going to happen.
Do you have any predictions?
I already gave you a prediction. Yeah, Trump's attacking North Korea. There's my prediction.
Huh. Well, I want to go back to what my prediction is for this whole thing. It's the one I made on the very first episode of this podcast, or similar ones. I said this will all be over by Christmas.
Oh, wow.
I still maintain that.
Okay.
Christmas, this guy's out of office, resigning or impeachment, whatever.
All right.
Resigning is more likely.
Well, clock's ticking. It's getting close.
What are you going to give me if I'm right?
Wow. Okay. I haven't disputed you. So now you want me to give you something? I'm going to give you a Trumpless White House. That's what I'm going to give you if you're right.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. That's awesome. Oh yeah. All right. Well, I think we got covered most of it.
I hope we don't have to do an emergency podcast in the next couple days.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, if you made it this far, and I appreciate it if you did, this is Eric LeVay, and you can follow me at EricLevai on Twitter.
I'm Chris. You can find me at Low Progressive on Twitter, and sometimes commenting on the Mueller Time Podcast Facebook page.
Right, the Facebook page. And then if you guys could drop us a review on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, Spotify, or really wherever you listen.
Yeah.
That would be great.
All right. We've plugged everything.
Well, that's because this is the Donald J. Trump podcast.
Oh.
Got to brand ourselves.
Well, yeah.
Otherwise, have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Adios.